Hey everybody, back with another video. I just completed the new Let Me Solo Her achievement, killing Ky'veza on the higher tier difficulty, double question mark difficulty. This is August 11th, the first week of the new 11.2 Koresh patch. This isn't necessarily going to be a guide, but I will give some tips and tricks that I came across as I was doing this. I'm just going to quickly show my talent build. The most important talent, what I just highlighted, in this whole tree, if you're doing this as Affliction lock, is that talent to shorten the cast time of your unstable Affliction because you have very little time to stand and cast in this encounter. And as far as my gear goes, I'm in mostly last season gear, which is full mythic, but I'm using the static charge power on the new belt, the overcharged belt. And I have my cape fully upgraded 707 with the epic gem in it, or the epic fiber for haste. And that's about it. I got a new champion ring and a champion neck so far from M0s, but this is what I did the encounter in. This encounter is extremely difficult. This probably took me more than 250 pulls, so don't be discouraged. It takes a lot of practice to really get the mechanics down. I did this full buffed, and after every wipe, make sure you eat Brann's food as well, because it gives you a 5% main stat buff that doesn't conflict with your own food buff. You can see on my buffs under my nameplate, I have both a regular food buff, a hearty food buff, and Brann's food buff. So I'm just waiting a second for my cooldowns to come back, and then we'll start the encounter. I did this as Affliction. I tried it as Demo and Destro, but you don't have enough time to stand and cast in those two specs, and I think that you perform just way worse. I think Affliction, if you're doing this as Warlock, is the move. You can see I'm using a Voidwalker, and since the threat buff this week, it can hold aggro pretty good. You will pull off the Voidwalker quite often and take some melees, but for the most part, it's a big help. The damage is low, and I did do probably maybe even 100 attempts with a Succubus, but what I came to realize is even though she'll do more damage, maybe even as much as twice as much damage as the Voidwalker. When I was checking my details, she was doing like 1.6 of my overall. It won't be enough to avoid doing another intermission phase like the shell game. So in my view, it's really not worth it. It's just worth it to use the Voidwalker for extra safety and just, you know, allowing you to focus more on the mechanics and not as much on your health bar. So, okay, a few things here. We've got Brann's epic egg up. These things are traps, okay? He seems to always throw them during this intermission. And, you know, my advice is to completely ignore the eggs. Unless it's right there during intermission, you can just put a couple dots on it to get it off your screen so it's not a distraction, but you know, trying to get dots on it and kill it while doing the rest of these mechanics is just not the move. It's going to brain jam you and cause you to make a mistake. And the DPS is not meaningful. By the way, I'm using Brann as healer here. I should have shown my talents, but I'm using the Hatarang power. And I'm also using the voice amplification module, which gives you a buff periodically. And the buff is usually a 4% int buff, which is pretty powerful. This is just a first week, so we only have rank 1 curios. Okay, so let's go through the mechanics. She just does 3 main mechanics followed by an intermission. She repeats this set of 3 mechanics twice and then goes into an intermission. So we'll start off right about here. She's doing the clones. These, it doesn't matter what's going on with your shards, your DPS, your procs, nothing. You have to completely switch that part of your brain off and just do the clones. Your DPS in this encounter is kind of irrelevant. What matters is surviving and doing the mechanics correctly for a very long time. In my kill, I think my total time was something like 8 minutes, and that's a very long time to maintain visual attentiveness and not make any mistakes, because every single ability in this encounter will kill you, and you have to do them perfectly, and it is actually very challenging to do that. So with the blades she does here, I found a lot of times what can happen is she will spawn them in such a way that she'll kind of like weave a basket around you, so to speak. It's like a wicker basket. There's nowhere to dodge to, and you're completely surrounded and overlapped with these blade lines on the ground, and that caused a lot of wipes for me. What I ended up determining is if you simply just like keep your character facing one direction, like I'm doing here, and strafe dodge and just move forward and back. I don't think that happens. I believe she spawns the blades in fixed positions around your character's model, so if your character is turning while trying to dodge those blade lines, she has the potential to spawn them in a way that's gonna overlap and just fuck you up. There's no way to dodge them. So if you just, you know, maintain your facing while dodging, I think it avoids a lot of issues. And you can see me kind of trying to do that again here. Okay, so we're about to hit an intermission. A useful trick I found for this intermission is to push away from your monitor, push away from your desk. And if you're willing to, you can also play in windowed mode and like shrink your screen down. So the whole encounter is a lot smaller. It'd probably, you know, be kind of weird for a lot of people and take some adjusting to, but that shell game, that intermission, is much easier when it's a smaller graphic in front of your face. Your eyes don't have to move as far, and you're much less likely to lose track of them. I play on 30-inch monitors usually, and initially when I was doing this encounter, I was losing track of them all the time, and then I tried this pushing away from my desk thing, and it helped me get really consistent with it. And you have to be 100% consistent with it. You know, you don't want to throw away a 6-minute attempt or something like that, losing track of those things at the end of the fight, right? Another piece of advice I would give, if possible, is to disable her health bar, because in my attempts I had a 16% wipe, I had a 9% wipe, and then I had a 0.8% wipe, and that was like 100 pulls before I killed it. And what happened to me on those attempts is I got jittery. You know, I thought I was closing in on a kill. I'd never been this far before, you know, whatever. The thing is, you can do this encounter for 10 minutes, 12 minutes. As long as you keep doing the mechanics correctly. Don't pay attention to her health. Just do the mechanics till she's dead, and don't worry about it. Now, the other part of this encounter, which I think is very easy for Warlock because we're just naturally tanky and we have the blueberry out tanking for us, is going to be the Nether Rift right here. I think this part is a lot more challenging for other classes. It's so forgiving. You have a lot of time to place your third portal, and the main mechanic here really is during this suck, you just take a lot of ticking rot damage, and it's just very manageable as Warlock. You don't have to do anything really. You can see I haven't even healthstoned once during this encounter. I rotate my Mortal Coil and my Dark Pact for everyone. If I get scared, you can lob a Healthstone, you can lob a health pot. It's really not that scary. I do try to put my Dark Pact and my Wall on sets where I have cooldowns, because while you're sitting there during that suck, that's your best time to cooldown and just blast some damage. And really that's it. Oh, actually I do have one more piece of advice. As you're doing this, you're going to have to do a lot of attempts, and you're going to realize at some point that you get killed by those clones, even though you feel like you're 100% facing them. I have a weak aura, which you can see is just a green line in front of my face, just shows me which way I'm facing. I don't think it actually helped that much, but what it did do is while I was recording my attempts, it proved to me that I wasn't crazy, and sometimes I was perfectly aligned with these clones and I would still get killed. And oh, we're about to kill her. Hold on. Let's watch this. I was so nervous at this moment. Awesome. Really challenging encounter. To finish up my point with the clones, sometimes I feel like if you're already facing a clone and then it spawns directly in front of you and you don't move your character or adjust your camera facing, it will kill you. And I think there's something going on with like the server registering the position of your character or something like that. What fixed it for me was simply facing away and then facing back very quickly. Anyways, guys, I hope this helps somebody out there with his encounter. This isn't necessarily meant to be a guide, but I did kind of ramble on for the whole thing. Truly, one of the most challenging encounters I've ever played in World of Warcraft in the last 10 plus years, 15 plus years of playing this game. So I hope it doesn't get nerfed too badly and they preserve some of the challenge. But of course, this is going to get easier in the coming weeks with Curio's and Brann's level going up as well as just eye level. So, anyways, guys, get in there, enjoy it, and catch you on the next video.